have this book where I collect inspiration. I did this for the first time when I went to design school back in 2020, which I've since quit and I'm studying something completely different now, but I still have a creative praxis, and I do this thing where I have these plastic pockets. So I think these are meant for pictures, like back when we printed all our photos, and it's just in this folder for kind of grown-up bookkeeping and stuff, I think. This is maybe one my mom used to use for bank documents. Anyway, so I found that this is quite a versatile format to work in because you can put in a lot of very different stuff, and something I really like about it is how every item influences the next item. Oh, whoa, interesting. I put in dead leaves from a flower and it's moldy now. That's kind of gross. I didn't realize that would happen. For example, here I have a cutout I did a while back. I have this little tiny spool of yarn, and then I have the moldy flower. God. And you can always tuck something different on the back side, so you'll see it from both sides, and that's another part of it that's really magical to me. This is a scan I did of one of my pages in my notebook, and then also my hand on top of it to test a printer I found for free. You can also put granny squares in there, like this. And this is a scan I did of a book about astronomy and about moon eclipses. And this is another, it's just like a piece of carded wool that I just like pulled some holes into and added here. It's a little bit chaotic. And then here we have, I don't know how much you can really see. Here we have a long piece. You can also add that. This is a piece of my own hair, and this is a tiny little branch. And when you're working with something that has a little bit more volume, it's a good idea to tape the top, because otherwise it's gonna fall out really quickly. This is a newspaper page. And a film picture I took many years ago, a tiny little patchwork piece of the front and back side of a gray piece of fabric. This is a cobweb in like rhinestones, and on the back side we have a character from the Moomin universe from the 20th October 2023, which was 2 days before my 25th birthday, and I love this character, so I kept this little thing. And on the back here there's also a tiny little cutout of a project I did this summer with uni. And then here I also have like quite a stuffed pocket with yarn from a sweater I made years ago now, but I really love the color combinations of it. And also a page from the newspaper and stuff on the back side as well. You can also add bigger pieces like this. And so right now there's nothing in here, but I'm planning on doing a mind map or something of that sort. So that's pretty fun as well. And I've also tacked on these adhesive edges that you can put something into like this, so that it kind of breaks the scale of the photo postcard format of these pockets. And this is a really nice picture of a lot of birds on telephone wires. This is like a medical thing, and the cover of like a CD I got. Oh, and this one hasn't been put in yet. maybe I should. So I think this is the last page, and it's just a few ideas I have for, I kind of want to work on a collection because I really enjoy producing a lot of the same type of thing in like an intensive period and then moving on to the next project. And sometimes I make so many of the same thing, like I don't personally need the amount of stuff that I'm making, but I'm just really caught in the wind of creating it and getting a better hang of it. Like the slippers I made for myself this fall, the felted knitted slippers. Pair for myself, for my mom, for Thomas, and for Lagbjørn, and for my grandmother. 5 pairs within maybe a month. And I've had a tendency to do this for a really long time. Like I catch wind of a new method or a new little thing I can make, and then I make like 10 of that thing, if not more. So I have a few ideas. Feels a little daunting to put it out there, but I have both like jewelry, knitted stuff, stickers, maybe a calendar for 2025. I really want to design a calendar, and like scenes, small books, keychains, and posters maybe. These are the ideas that are here. Anyway, this format is really fun because I have so many of these types of like small little pieces of things that I keep but just kind of tuck away, and this is a really fun way to archive inspiration and enjoyable, nice aesthetic things. And then also the factor of how they create like this little microcosm together and influence each other and play up against each other. I think that's really fun, and I think it's like a really potent format that I'm definitely going to continue exploring throughout my life. So this is the 3rd time I've used this format, and this time I've used it a little bit more freely because it wasn't for an exam or for an application. This is purely for my own sake. But actually, the first part was really quick because I was just like, oh, I have this stuff laying around already and I don't know what to do with it, so I'm gonna put it in here. I know a few of you were watching back in 2020 and really enjoyed the flip through I did of the book I did back then. So I thought, why not do it again? Hi there, I wanted to pop in and add a few thoughts as I was editing that I didn't feel I conveyed in the main video. If you're watching this, there's a pretty good chance that you have a Pinterest and that you have a saved folder on Instagram and that you're watching videos on YouTube, all to gain inspiration and make mood boards and find some creative fulfillment. And I do that myself. I think it's quite valuable, and there are so many resources online that make so much sense to use. I have met many people online, and I have seen a lot of ideas that have sparked ideas of my own. That being said, I think there's definitely something tactile about having a physical album of your inspiration and finding it between your fingers instead of on a blank screen. You're not touching it. I personally have the tendency to save a lot of stuff and then not necessarily look at it again. Whereas with this project, it's quite easy to open the book again and you look at it every time you need to add something new, whereas that's not the case for Pinterest or Instagram. At least you can like add something to a mood board and never look at the actual mood board, and that's kind of a caveat I fall into. And I think we should all be printing our pictures and looking at them in real life instead of on our phones and our computers. Like we used to do that. I know it was out of necessity, but I think everything being collected in this big collective container of our photo albums and our mood boards, and everything is just on our phones. We don't have any separation between the years, we don't have any separation between the different ideas, and it all becomes one thing. Whereas if you have a photo album of 2023, it's that year and it's selected photos, you know? Sometimes I go on my phone and I look at my own pictures and it will show me a picture of my grandfather who passed away, and that actually affects me, you know? It's not a mood I thought I was going to be in. I was just looking for a picture of whatever, you know? I am not against the digital realm. I exist there quite a lot, and I love the people I connect with through that. But I think we have a lot of tactile needs that aren't being met, and I think that we need to reinstate some physical media in our lives and some physicality. And yeah, in short, print your photos, print your saved Pinterest boards, and put them up somewhere physically. I think this format has a lot of potential to be used even more intentionally than I have this far. This book is quite chaotic because it's just whatever was in my living room that didn't have a space that I've kept because I liked it. As I was thinking about the potential of this format, I had this idea to take a picture of every single piece of clothing that I owned and print it and put it in a booklet and have that physically somewhere. I thought that was pretty interesting as like an experiment. Not knowing what you have can be really detrimental to your relationship with those things and can lead to overconsumption of other things. And that's, I think, a big theme of my life these years is like figuring out my relationship with physical items and owning things and archiving things. Because I can be a bit of an emotional hoarder, and I wrote that on my Substack, my first entry there. And I'm trying to find a way to work with that where it feels productive instead of restrictive, because it can be really overwhelming to keep a lot of things and not know where to put them and not really use them or interact with them. So we need to be interacting with our things, and one of the ways to do that is to organize them. And this is one of the ways I organize all of the inspiration I have laying around. I'm not sure if I put my thoughts clearly on this. I'm feeling intimidated a little bit. It's so fun to hold a little microphone. Okay. I don't think I signed off this video in the main part, but thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. I hope you enjoyed, and thank you for being here.